Inter fans, how you doing after this week of celebration? We are still excited. That's why with this episode of International Corner, we want to share with you all the emotion that we are feeling. So let me introduce, as always, my mate, Elena, here with me at the studio.
Hi, Gaia. Thank you. It's been great. It's been an amazing week. I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to have celebrated with you guys. What can I say? I'm looking forward to enjoying what we got ready for today.
Oh, yes, of course. And as always, Mr. Richard Hall. Hi, Richard. How you doing?
Hi, how are you? Are you both okay? I'm super ecstatic. What's happened over the last, I'd say, 2 weeks, and it's great to be here and share this moment with you both.
Yeah, we feel great. Maybe a little bit tired, but I love being tired in this way. I want to work every day after this amazing season. I don't know if it's the same for you, Elena, but this last week was something that, I don't know, it's difficult to describe.
Yeah, it's been a week, a full week round of celebrations from the derby, and then of course the great party, the great parade that we had on Sunday. And we saw you, following you through with straight in touch with the fans, and it was great to see you there. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I'm a city girl from Milan, and I don't know how many people can say this about their own city. I've never seen so many people celebrating anything. I'm not just talking about football,
yes,
but this was huge. I mean, I was baffled to say the least, about how many people followed the bus parade, turned up to the square, and it was just crazy.
Definitely, I agree with you. It was crazy because when I was there, I told to our mates, okay, I imagine something great, but not great like this, because it was insane. I have never seen in my life a lot of people like this celebrate for a team and for, as you said, for everything. So
let's just remind, because you've lived it in first person, and maybe people who they need a reminder of how long it all took. The match finished 1 against Torino, by the way. So that basically came in the background.
True.
The parade was the main topic of the day. The match finished, everyone on the bus, and more or less it was 4:30 when it started off.
Yes.
Yeah, and then what time did they arrive in the dome? So that's 8 kilometers. Richard, what's 8 kilometers in miles? Maybe 5 miles, something like that.
Yeah. Around and about that. I mean, I've got some questions for you guys today, because I was out for the game against Cagliari, and then I wanted to stay out for this, but unfortunately other things took me halfway around the world. So I was watching this, and to pick up on your point, I was amazed about the amount of people that were there, and just how many people gathered in that area, and what you've been saying about how long that took. I mean, I've seen some things in Milan 2006, 2010, but it looked, from my point of view, that this even topped it. And I'm just wanting to ask you guys, how many people did they fit in the Piazza Duomo?
Oh, exactly.
I read, but it's not official numbers, that it was in the order of 400,000 people in total.
Yes, but it's difficult to say, Richard, because the point is that the parade was long, even because it was staff just to leave the stadium. To leave the stadium, they needed, I don't know, maybe more than 1 hour, because we had this TV live show, and imagine that we stay live for around 10 hours. Was something crazy. But I was there in the Duomo Square, and everybody were asking, okay, when they are going to arrive here? What time they are going to arrive here? And I said, I don't know. The schedule said 8:39, but then they arrived there around 11.
Something like that, 11, yes.
Wow, and when they arrived there, I was in this little rooftop in front of the Duomo, and it looked like a movie. I couldn't see anything. And I just couldn't hear the voices of our fans, and the lights everywhere, red lights, as you see in these amazing videos. This one is close to the HQ, the Inter HQ, but wow, it's
and that's
something
actually
that
the
I will
largest
never forget.
point. That's one of the largest streets. They went through some really narrow streets. I don't know how they managed that. Speaking of crowds, you've been to Coachella, yeah?
Oh, yes,
You just
right.
been to Coachella and then you went straight to, after Derby. And so what was big?
No, yeah, this is a good question because, Richard, I know that you travel a lot, and now we will ask you for sure also your experience. But as Elena said, I had the experience with Inter to go to the Coachella, and I could say that, of course, this was one of my goals in life, because you know that I love United States. So I went there and I imagined the Coachella as a massive, big festival, music festival.
Yeah.
So I arrived there and I said, oh, wow, but this is even bigger than the imagination. So it was a crazy, and almost, I don't know, 10 stages or something like that. We went there because Mahmoud, the Turkish DJ, he is a friend of Çalhanoğlu, was there to play for the first time in his career. So we were there. He had our jersey on while he was playing. So it was an amazing experience.
But
exactly, I can say that when I flew back was on Monday, so the Derby day, and I arrived in the Duomo. I was like, okay, the Coachella was very good, but this is something that I will never forget. I can't compare these things because, wow. And then on Sunday, even better.
So breaking records, I would say this season for Inter has been all about, of course, the title and everything. But it's a season where if there was a record, they would break it. And talking about the Derby, it was the first time that in history of the Serie A that the title was won in the Derby. And I mean, the team wasn't really paying too much attention to that specific game. He was like, if we're going to win it there, that's fine. If not, we will have many more chances. But the fact that it happened there, of course, triggered the fans.
Yes, for sure, the fans. The joy that I saw on the faces of our fans was something incredible. But Richard, how did you experience this derby and then the game against Torino? Because I know that you weren't exactly close to Milano, right? You were in China.
No. Well, I was about 4 or 5 days before. So I was at the Cagliari game, and I was really, like I said, the original plan was to watch the game against Cagliari and then go to the derby, but other things called, and I ended up in China. And so not only did that make it difficult to watch because of the timing, but it was worth it. I mean, it was like 6 hours difference ahead. So watching that game was amazing. And I imagine you said that you traveled a lot and came in from the States. I bet adrenaline got you through that. I probably didn't sleep even though I was working for about 2 days because of this, because anytime you saw anything on social media about the amount of fans, I was trying to think when you were talking then, in the UK, the only thing I can compare it to is probably like the Queen's Jubilee in London. It was that many people.
And that's exactly what I thought when I saw the bus starting out from San Siro. I was like, this looks like the Queen's Jubilee.
Yes, right.
Tents, people sleeping in tents for like 2 days outside the stadium. But,
But what is the social media stuff that stood you out the most? Because I imagine, as you said, that you could be close to us just watching what we posted on what fans posted. So what stood you out the most?
Yeah, look, I'm not saying this, but I think the way Inter covered this from the social media was just brilliant, because one thing that's interesting, obviously this is called the International Corner. And what I realized watching this was how difficult, and we have so many fans in the Far East, as well as all over the world, and how difficult that is to get up and watch your team every single week. And people talk about, it's great to go to stadium. It is, trust me, it is, as you guys know. But the effort and what people go to is really difficult when you're a million miles away. And what Inter did with the social media to keep people in touch, it worked for me, so it was fantastic.
Well, since you were in China, though, I think one piece of content that made everyone laugh a lot was the live chat that Çalhanoğlu had the day after probably sleeping.
This is the thing that stood you out the most, that liked you the most.
It was funny. It was really funny, yeah. It was really funny because it looked so spontaneous, and somebody on that chat was also in China at the moment when that happened. I don't know if you watched it. Not you. Somebody who's involved in the live chat. Yeah,
That was
really
funny. Oh, for me, the funniest was okay. I need a camera. Yali yali ya.
No.
You know what I mean, Richard? Did you watch the chala dance? Yali yali ya.
Yeah.
That was good. I continue to sing it every day, like yali yali.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn the choreography to do my personal TikTok, but
Right.
I'm terrible with these things, so probably
No, I haven't
will not
tried.
be
No.
able to do it, but
I
it's
won't
funny.
try.
Yali yali ya. Okay, but well, I wanna tell you the moment, exactly the moment when the bus arrived there in the Duomo Square, and it was like an explosion. It was like an explosion. We have a picture about the moment. We remind to our fans. I wanna do that because I really don't know if all the fans around the world were really able to experience live those moments. So this is why we decided to schedule this episode of International Corner, to bring always this picture all over the world and to try to be closer all the fans around the world. But that moment, I still have goosebumps. And then they went to the rooftop, and Mirko Mengozzi, our speaker, introduced all the players to all the fans, and they had the chance to say something to the fans. It was incredible. It was my first Scudetto, so for me it was something new. But I really can say that even for people who worked here before me, before us, this one was something different, was brilliant.
It was also because, besides that moment itself where they turned up, 10 hours of so many fans, and if you listen to all the speeches that the players did from the terrace and during the interviews all through the season, one thing they always said is to pay some tribute to the fans because they've always supported them. It's true. There haven't been many bad moments, to be honest.
Yeah.
So they say they always supported them. Of course, the league has gone really well, only one defeat.
Yes, but it's also a journey that didn't start just this season.
No,
it's a journey that started before. So yes, they support us even in tough moments. And that's why even Simone Inzaghi said this is like a Scudetto that everybody won. It's something that we did it together as a team, as staff, as all the people who work for this club, and for sure all the fans. And watching this image, I can't find words, honestly.
Do you think it's because there's maybe not a new generation of fans, but maybe Inter fans now, especially what we've achieved over quite a few years, as you alluded to, are starting to get used to winning. So that's why they come out even more. Because as I said before, I look at these scenes, and in 2006-07 was the first time I ever experienced anything like this, and that was incredible. It wasn't like this, and I wasn't even there, and I can tell it wasn't like this. So that's why it's so interesting.
Maybe it is right that there's a younger generation that is more drawn to it. A lot maybe has to do with social media and the work that, of course, everyone is doing. The players themselves have to put themselves out there on social media and to show who they are as people as well,
Yes,
and
true.
you do get that feel of who they are a little bit, But I think that it's a journey that started maybe 3 years ago. So in three years, the team has been able to showcase who they are as players, as a team, the results, of course, but also a kind of philosophy of trying new things out and never, ever started a debate.
Yes.
There's never negativity. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes,
Simone
I
Inzaghi,
understand.
first of all, and
yeah.
I respect him for this so much, because staying away from the debate is one way of, being
This is
happy
true.
with your life. And
Yes, guys, this is true. This is 100% true. And I think also the great job that the club is doing to develop the brand Inter. You know what I
Yes.
mean? For example, bring Inter, as we said before, to the Coachella. It's something new and nobody did it, you know? So I think that for sure, respecting the traditions, and the old generation and everything. But as you said, Richard, this point is very interesting for me. These new generations maybe need even something more, something more.
Yeah, I think so, because I'm sorry to interrupt. I think it's interesting for me because you mentioned old generation, and it's quite scary now that that's probably me. But at the same point, I think that Inter fans, one of the things I also wanted to mention was that second star is so important. And I think what Inter have done really well. And so when you look at it, yes, of course, all of those things that matter for people who've been going to Milan, even from outside of Italy, like myself, for so long, understand the history and traditions. But I think what Inter are doing really well and is putting across that and the values to a new generation in different ways, as you say. And it is the mix of when something like this happens, people want to be part of it. And, I think that when you look at football clubs all over Europe right now, I think it's very difficult to see another club who you'd want to be part of more. Maybe that's because I'm biased, but Inter certainly have something going at the moment.
Yes, right. But guys, I know it's difficult maybe to find just one crucial moment of this season, but I want to ask you, what is the most excited moment for you?
So most
season?
exciting for me, so there are two moments that are, one is exciting, one is probably the turning point for the team.
Yes.
So most exciting for me was Inter Verona. I was there at the stadium, I just watched it as a fan, I must say. I wasn't working. And
the game was crazy.
It was crazy. It was, like, Frattesi, last chance, last ever second. And
yes.
But the crowd, in the stands, people were like sitting down and standing up and not even sitting down anymore. And it was disappointment and then joy, of course. And it was a tough game. And managing to do what we did there was great. And the turning point was defeating Juventus. I mean, that triggered in February.
Yes.
That triggered a series of important matches where we basically collected goals after goals. And I think that was the time where the team basically started to believe that they really had a good chance to continue what they were doing, not to do more or to compare themselves to the others, but to believe in the work they were doing was right, and then it was going to bring good results.
Yes, I agree with you. What about you, Richard?
So yeah, my personal experience with this season twofold. One, the defining moment had to be Juventus, just as you've mentioned before. The media really put that as a game that it was a must-win. It was a title decider, and to win that game was huge. We put that to bed so convincingly. And you could see then that the momentum, as you've mentioned, really started and saw us through. And I think it was a moment of belief for the players. The second moment for me is a bit more personal. As obviously, as I mentioned before, we went to the game against Cagliari, and my little boy wasn't with me because he's only 5. But what was amazing, even when I was in China, my wife messaged me and on FaceTime, and he's there in his Inter kit, even though he's English, he stood there and he was dancing around in front of the television, and I've not seen him celebrate like that. And so for me, it was like, I've done something right here. So that was my that was my personal moment. But yeah, that was beautiful. But I don't often get that emotional. But the Juventus game as a whole, that was one where we just knew. I personally just thought that's it already then.
Yes, the Juventus game was at the beginning of February, and February was like a record month because Inter scored 4 goals to Atalanta, 4 goals to Roma, 4 goals to Lecce, and 4 goals to Salernitana. It was like a goal machine. I think that moment, the whole month, was something like, okay, this team is going to win the Scudetto.
Yeah. It came to 89 in the end, points. So, I mean, It's a lot. It's a lot of points. And best out of the top 5 leagues in Europe. So, I mean, it's not... I'm saying this because when you win something and you get straight away hungry for more, And so you look at, okay, I've done this, I've achieved this. Now, next season, and I love the players on the terrace there on the dome said, but next year we'll do the same. And then, so I'll start looking around and say, but hang on, we are doing great in the end because 89 points best in Europe. So, I mean...
Yeah, it's not bad. And we don't have to forget even the derbies victories, the one with Udinese at the 95th minute. So I think Inter gave a lot of signals, and we're not surprised that now we are here talking about Scudetto. But yes, probably even the last derby was something that I will never forget, because I was already in the Duomo. I went there at the halftime, and nobody was there in the square, and I was like, where are people? In this day in Milano, we had a lot of rain. It looks like November, Richard. So I said, okay,
It
maybe
looks like England, maybe.
Yeah. Yes, I was thinking about it while I was talking. I said, okay, but I'm talking with someone who is living in England. So yes, exactly. But when the game was over, there was like an explosion of fans. They arrived in the square from the gallery. Probably they were there just to cover themselves from the rain, and they exploded in like this big scream. And I said, okay, now we can start to celebrate it. I remember that I hugged my colleague Federica on the rooftop, and I was like, okay, we won. I can't believe it, we won, and we are here because, also for us, for sure we are not players, we are not with the team, but it's been like an honor to be here, to tell to the fans all these emotions. I think it's something to be grateful, to feel blessed. This is exactly how I feel today. So it's difficult to find just a moment. Probably that moment, I was in the Duomo Square, was my favorite for my personal life,
I was going to ask you as well, because there have been so many moments throughout the season for all the players in the end, because everyone had a chance to showcase their talents and their qualities. And I think in the Derby d'Italia against Juventus, the goal that came in the end, it was an own goal by Gatti, but you remember Pavard, what he did with the bicycle kick? That was like true grit. And if I could have one word to describe Inter this season, was that, true grit. And I have other words. If you ask me, for example, my MVP, I would say...
This is the next topic, so yes.
I'm so keen.
Yes, guys, please, we talk about the moment. Now I want to talk about the best player for you, and then I will tell you mine. But first of all, I want to know yours. I know, don't say that this is the team win, because we already know it. This is 100% a team win, but Richard, Ellen, I want to know your favorite.
Maybe mine is not so expected. Well, I would say Eric Mkhitaryan. I'd say you why. Because he played every single game.
True. In
the starting 11. At times he was subbed off for Frattesi, so okay. But he played with so much consistency, and the personality as well of somebody so understated and always chilled. Yeah. Somebody that I would say, if I could be someone a little bit, and takes up something of that personality and make it mine, I would say Eric Mkhitaryan. As a person, I mean, he's the one man to go. If you are not sure of something on the pitch, take a look at him and say, yeah, sure, we'll do that. So for me, MVP on a personal, how he acts on the pitch. And I mean, he's not a boomer. He's not... young generation, is one of those talents that maybe keeps improving and growing, and experience has given him something extra to be that pivot.
Yeah, for sure. He was one of the players that when he arrived here in Inter, improved a lot, thanks even to coach Simone Inzaghi. He was one of those players who arrived here and start to do even better. I don't know if you agree with us, Richard, but we want to know also your favorite player.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic choice for all the reasons you said, and it's he would be right up there of one of mine. Mine, I'm going to refer to him as the Roger Federer of goalkeepers, Jan Sommer. I just think this man is a class act. I look at goalkeepers a lot. I used to play very badly as a goalkeeper when I was younger, and I enjoy watching goalkeepers. And you mentioned before about maturity or calmness, and I just think that the way Jan Sommer's played this season to come in and do what he's done, his distribution is fantastic, his positioning is brilliant, and even, I mean, you can see that even his agility is amazing. But more important than that, the calmness that he's allowed to the way we play, in the sense of allowing the wing backs to, which is a really important part of our strategy, to do what they do, allowing the centre backs at times to almost play as wing backs. It's all, for me, comes down to Jan Sommer. They can play a higher line if they want to, and you never see him panic. And for me, listen, there's been some amazing players, of course there has, but for me, it starts at the back, and Jan Sommer has been, like you say, sometimes you can, when I compare him to Federer, it's because sometimes you can have a powerful tennis player like Nadal who works and he looks like he works, but Jan Sommer just does it effortlessly, like Federer, like a classical music player. It's effortless, and it obviously isn't. And so he would be mine.
Wow, Richa, I think that you surprised me.
I thought you were going to say Lautaro or Chala. I thought you was going to say. No,
I'm going to tell you mine. I'm going to tell you mine. Okay, camera.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay, Chala for me. For me, it was the MVP for me. Okay, it's it's difficult to pick just one, but what he did this season was unbelievable. The growth that he had in this leader position. I mean, the job that he did, even on defense, I really appreciate what he brings to the table this season. I pick him.
For me, Chala, yes, I was going to say either Chala or Miki, because Chala has that kind of coolness, the Iceman, the shooting from set pieces, penalties. I mean, he's got a record streak of 16, I think.
Yes, I don't know if you saw the picture against Torino, that Thuram
was already celebrating.
Was already celebrating.
But I remember that I was putting a piece together, and I started watching the few moments just before he shoots the ball, and I thought, is this in slow motion, or I'm just too in love with this type of sports gesture? Honestly, because it's like you can see the rest of the world going around, and then everything stops, and he just shoots with so precision and power. It's unbelievable. You cannot, if you're a goalkeeper, you cannot save that.
And also on the Hakan, I think that the reason that's a good choice is because I think, even like you said, you thought I'd pick Hakan. I almost did. I think as a fan's favourite, I would imagine he would be definitely up there. But also as well, how many times have we watched replays of, I think we've just seen one, of Hakan's passing?
Yeah.
And he's just this wand of a foot. And you look at it, it's like a quarterback, and you go,
yes.
How does that happen? I've never seen a pass been replayed on social media as much as Hakan's this season. And he, like you said, he's improved so much.
I did take a look at other midfielders like Hakan, some of the other leagues, and accuracy in the passes, and Hakan is something in the range of 90, 93, 95 for some of the top midfielders in the world, like Toni Kroos, of course. So the range is really high, and Hakan is there. I was saying that Inter is breaking records, and with points, with number of goals.
Well, guys, I think that time is done. I mean, time flies when you have fun. This is what we say in Italy. Thanks for being here with me. Richard, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you both. It's been amazing today, and it's just great to see everyone with smiles on their faces. And it's not just us. It's, like you say, International Corner. It's everybody who's smiling today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Elena, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to all the fans, and stay tuned.